Like how much of it is still being developed versus like finalized out in the wild type thing?
That's a good question, Lowell. We are making lots of mycelium. We have a 3-story tall fermenter in which we grow the mycelium, and we can make all types of really delicious products with it. We can make everything from chicken breasts to bacon to turkey slices to foie gras and more. And these are great products. Some of them are on restaurant menus. The problem is that even though 3 stories sounds very big, it's only enough to supply like local restaurants. It's not enough to supply, let's say, the Tyson Foods or the Hormel Foods of the world. And so the task before us is not so much to refine formulas for how we can turn the mycelium into really delicious foods. That's already done. The task before us is to scale up, to have fermenters that instead of 3 stories, I would say, are maybe 10 or 15 stories tall. Essentially you need, in order to actually make the dent that we're trying to make, which is to reduce the number of animals who we need to raise for food, we just have to have a lot more fermentation capacity.
That makes a lot of sense. Have you thought about? I mean, Sacramento, I don't think is a relatively cheap area. I'm from the Midwest, so I'm used to things being about like third the cost. Have you thought about building something in like Tennessee and then just using the shipping hubs out there to move it around the U.S.?
Lowell, I can assure you that while our headquarters and our pilot scale facility is in California, that will not be where our commercial manufacturing occurs.
Mm.
There's a reason why all these big food companies are in the Midwest, and we are not going to buck that trend, I can assure you.
Yeah, I think you'd like Madison or something, but other than like the temperature, I don't know a place in the Midwest that
You
is
know,
quite like Sacramento.
uh, Before we were recording, for your listeners' sake, Lowell was telling me that it was like 9 degrees or -9 degrees or something in Wisconsin where he is. So he wasn't selling it. But I can assure you we will be putting up manufacturing facilities in the Midwest, not in California.
Hmm. Do you when you look for places, do local governments give you incentives to pick a certain spot, or are you too new to? I know like at a certain scale, like Tesla gets stuff thrown at them all the time, but when you're first starting out,
Yeah.
like maybe people aren't as generous.
Yeah, I don't think there's as much prestige as associated with bringing fungal fermentation to your town as bringing a Tesla factory, but they want jobs. Obviously,
Yeah.
any municipal authorities will want manufacturing that brings jobs, and that's what we do. So no, we're not as big as a Tesla manufacturer, but we are still looking to build some pretty substantial fermentation assets.